Hi, this is On Imagination, and I am coming to you live from the point of comprehension. So I reached, there's the big picture, and then there's the full picture, and then there is the ultimate picture. I received the ultimate picture. Like I arrived and I went, yes, I understand. Oh my God, I love this point of place. I love it so much. It feels like a perspective shift. Oh. Oh, this is going to be so much better than the perspective shifting. All right, so this is how it works. So the perspective shifts was you shift, you get to the center point. And I could feel it. I'm like, there's no more perspective shifting. What is this? There's no more perspective shifting. I'll tell you what this is. This is awesome. So you're at the point, and then this is it. It just grows. It just grows, and it starts to expand. And I'm sitting here, and I'm like, well, I'm not shifting anymore. It's expanding. So now it's perspective expansion. Yes, I'm just so excited. I was wondering what was going to come, and I'm just like, wow. So this is my first perspective expansion. Yes. Oh my God, I love it here. Okay, so this is where I'm at. So I guess I'm back to documenting the journey. Yes. All right, I'm gonna compose myself. I gotta wear my crown. I'm so excited. All right, so here's how this works. There was first the arrival. I remember the arrival. That was like, whoa, I am at the point. I am at the point. So this is where we're all going. And then there was decorating the point. And this was the stage where I started to make it comfortable, and I learned how to triangulate my position here. So I triangulated my position here. And that was actually what I did yesterday was I triangulated it. So if I were to put a date on this, I need to just journal this. That's really what I need to do. All right, so on the 27th of May, 27th of May. So yeah, on the, there's a defined it. So you arrive and then you define it. I defined it on the 26th of May. And then and then moved fast. And then on the 27th, it was triangulating it. And then now I see the ultimate picture. And yeah, it's the ultimate picture. So now you have the ability to span out, and it's like, oh, and now I understand. The catalyst, the invisible catalyst, is education, which is why everyone says awareness is the stage of change. Awareness is the first symptom. So the invisible catalyst is education. I will be blunt. You cannot teach unless you are here at the point, because only then do you have true comprehension of truth. Only here do you truly understand. And there is that moment where you have the ability to transfer in such simple, succinct precision, so that when the student receives, they understand instantly. Plato's point is the only place where a teacher can teach. It's that simple. It is that simple. Everything here is simple. The invisible catalyst is education, and the first symptom is awareness. I have an email list, 3 of them. I have one for cultivators, business owners, healers, and teachers. I have one for the pilgrim and philosopher. And then I have another one for foundationals. Foundationals are my beautiful, precious people. Foundationals are the foundation of our culture. And you know how good you are if the foundationals are happy and healthy. If the foundationals are not happy and healthy, you are failing at a system. The philosopher and the pilgrim are the last stage. The next stage is Pando, which is the cultivators. And the foundationals are the children. and they need the most help. The problem is the education that's available to them is fucking shit, which is why the middle class is shrinking, because they're not transferring into the middle class. They're stuck. And they're stuck because cultivators have not been taught properly. So I have 3 email lists, and this is how I'm going to do that. This is the strategy. I'm going to be transferring at Plato's point all of my data. And it starts with standards. And we're going to start with the standards of education. Once you have the standards of education, it raises the bar for everybody else. The next thing after that is the problem-solving skill. But before we even get into that, we have to talk about the environment of learning, because the subconscious mind doesn't work any other way. The environment of learning only exists at Plato's point. So then we're going to talk about Plato's point. And then the third lesson is going to be problem solving. And that is all the knowledge you need for the rest of your life. Everything else is Googleable. And when the information is available to you at your fingertips, you don't need to gorge it. But more importantly, when you have logic, problem solving, and communication skills, you can logically deduce everything you need, so you don't actually have to look it up on Google. You'll just know it because it becomes common sense. Common sense is knowledge that comes from logic, problem solving, communication, which all equals logical deduction. And that is common sense. Common sense is logical deduction. So this is the strategy and the plan. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make triadic healing available for free to everybody, because that has been something that just feels right from day one. Triadic healing part 1 is for the foundationals. Triadic healing part 2 is for the cultivators. Triadic healing part 3 is for the pilgrim and the philosopher. This feels right. This feels good. This gives me joy. Yes. Yes. So that's my email list. My social media consists of YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Huh, isn't that funny? LinkedIn would be my cultivators. I believe YouTube are my philosophers. That's why I said to you the other day, you guys are special. It's because I'm a philosopher. So I can relate to you. Doesn't mean you're better. It just means I can relate to you. Facebook. Facebook would be the foundationals. And now I know how to talk to them. Now I understand. Because it's the ultimate picture. So I take my 3. Oh, I know exactly how to do this. I take my 3 YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and then I transfer it over to my emails, my corresponding email lists. So I've got cultivators, I've got my foundationals, I've got my philosophers and pilgrims. For my cultivators, I have Pando, and that's that resource. I thought I would be governing only one of them, but no, I'm going to be governing all of them. I hate the word govern. Enabling, I hate the word govern. It's self-government. I will be teaching people how to self-govern and then nourishing them. And then I have the 12 ethics email. There it is, which is for the philosophers and the pilgrim. That makes so much more sense. So I need to come up with an email list plan for the foundationals. I need to figure out how to market to the foundationals. I'll figure that out. So after that, Now it comes down to making the most of these resources. Making the most of these resources. And that's really vital, is making the most of the resources. And it comes down to, are you a foundational, a cultivator, or are you a pilgrim philosopher or a philosopher? Once we have that all established, then it's really an understanding of, okay, what is it you need? Oh, this is making so much more sense. Okay, all right, I understand how to do this. So it's getting everybody to Plato's point, which I'm there. So now it's just a matter of making sure I can transfer it over into the 3 types of people that there are. Oh yeah, I know exactly how to do this. All right. Standards is the first lesson. Your standards. That is the very first lesson. The second lesson is problem solving. And then the next lesson, well, and we have Plato's point in there. And then there is how to learn. How to learn is broken down like this. The first stage of how to learn is the theory, which is all over the place. And then I have the discussion. The discussion is actually something I call exploratory dialogue. And the next one is application. Now, application has 2 parts. It's technique, but it is also something else. It's actually the doing. It's the doing. And this is what most people have a problem with, is the doing. And it's the ability to identify when something is a skill and when it's not. Most everything is a skill. Most everything is a skill. And we're treating common sense as if it were a skill, and it's not. I'm sorry, reverse that. We're treating common sense as if it were an instinct, and it's not. Common sense is a consequence to logic and problem solving and communication, which are the 3 primary things that are not at all taught. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. This is so simple. Why didn't I? Because I was not at Plato's point before. Okay, so here is what I'm doing. I am taking Plato's curriculum, which is awesome, and I am just converting it into the 21st century. That's all I'm doing. The whole damn fucking time. That's all I had to do. Boy, that was really simple. You know, you're right when it's simple. Newton, Einstein. Simplicity is the clue that you're at Plato's point. Okay, so I'm going to be converting Plato's curriculum over to the 21st century. I already have a blueprint because I followed it and I did it. This is really stupid easy. So it's DIY teaching. That's really what this is literally how to self-teach. But self-teaching, you need the theory, which is what I have. That's information all over the place. But then the other parts of these, I have 2 sides to this. See, I have my circle of where is Anna going to be? And I have people on the outside. Oh, it makes so much more sense to me. All of this is making so much more sense. And I have YouTube, I have Facebook, and I have LinkedIn. And then I have my emails, and my emails, and my emails. And then I come to that next point, which is why I haven't been able to set it up, because I needed to create the foundational email first. I wasn't ready. It's always 3 points, always 3 points. I know this. 3 point, still back to that, every business. I understand. So it's going to go this, and then it's going to come out again. Okay, and then it's going to expand. Welcome to the Olive Eye. This is the all of I. It's all of the self-defined. Okay. So this is on my agenda then. My agenda is going to be creating a foundational email. My pilgrims get 12 ethics, the 12 ethical email challenge. My business owners get Pando for cultivators and the network. I am building a bridge to take down the class system, in case you wanted to know. This is how it's done, through education and through instruction to take people from point A to point B so they can walk out of poverty. This is how it's done. And for the foundationals, what do they want? They want relief. They want an easy life because it's that fucking hard. Education for easy living is what they want. And it is easy when it's right. So there you go. Oh. Easy living is boring. So here's the formula. You give them an easy life, and then they become bored. And I know what happens after that. After boredom, you become curious. And then you start thinking about ways to entertain yourself ethically, because you don't get an easy life if you're unethical. So they become ethical and they obtain the ease. After we created the replicators, it removed the ability for us to have limited resources. There were no limited resources after that. Well, what about work? What did you guys do for work with the replicators? We did not need to work, so we didn't. Everyone always had everything that they ever wanted. Well, then why work? Why do anything? What do you do? We worked because it gave us joy. And then we started to choose what we wanted to do because it was done out of desire. It was done out of the betterment of the self for no other reason. And what about the people who chose not to work? They're not revered in our culture, but they're allowed. And now we live in a world where people don't think about need. They think about what they desire. And the ethics upholds them. And so they do. Orville, a spin-off of Star Trek, in referencing how the society went from chaotic destruction over to the society you see in Star Trek. And this is how it was done. You give them an ethical, easy life, and then they get bored because the easy life and the ethical life does give you everything you need. And then once you're bored, you start to become curious. That's one of the ethics. That's the first ethic. And then you have the courage to overcome your fear, and then you do. And because you know how, you do. And then you start skill building. You just start skill building. And then you become creative and imaginative, and you'll plug it in wherever you want. But the foundationals must have an easy life. Because the foundationals who have an easy life are the ones who go on to seek curiosity from boredom and self-improvement out of love, not fear. Self-improvement out of love. In order to get that catalyst, you need to give the foundationals an easy life. To give them an easy life, they need to be educated for easy living. That'll do it. So it's a newsletter focused around educated for easy living. It's that simple. It's going to break the world off into two categories: the uneducated, which is already happening, and the educated. But the people who are uneducated now have a choice to become educated. And that's it. After that, they will step into the role of a cultivator. And then once they'll either stay there and settle down, which they can do, or they will go on to become pilgrims, which they can do. This is so simple. Option, freedom, and choice. So that's the question. Are you a cultivator? Are you a foundational? Or are you a pilgrim or a philosopher, the pilgrim philosopher? If you are a foundational, it means that you are at the foundation of the culture. That's where most people are. The cultivators is what we're really struggling with, is because they don't have Plato's point. You cannot be a cultivator unless you are at Plato's point. You can, but it's not going to be as effective. You must be at Plato's point to transfer the data so succinctly that the foundationals can receive it. The formula for that, I was just working this out earlier, is there are prerequisites to this lifestyle. It's called optimum transmission, optimum knowledge, and optimum comprehension. And that's what you get at Plato's point. Now, the receiver, that's the transmitter, the receiver requires optimum reception, optimum quality, and optimum understanding. Quality of a teacher. That's what you need. If your teacher isn't good, you're not going to get a proper reception. Now, once this is done, you pass the data from transmitter to receiver with succinct, simple precision. And the only way to get that is if we stand on equal footing, which means we have to stand on equal footing. So once that occurs at Plato's point, you get the information you need so simply, so succinctly, that you immediately understand it and get it. There's one more piece that I'm missing here. Theory, which is what? No, Siri, theory. And then I just said this too. There's the application, theory, application. Discussion, exploratory dialogue. All right. Triadic healing is the theory. That is what that is. The doing is going to be up to you. I can't do that for you. The doing is going to be up to you. I can give you the instruction. So there's two parts to the doing. There's the doing, and then there's the instruction. And then there's the exploratory dialogue for discussion. And that is how a person learns. But the teacher must be at Plato's point. If the teacher isn't at Plato's point, it's not going to work. But this formula gets everybody who wants it to Plato's point. That's the beacon that I've been looking for. The beacon is at Plato's point. All three of them have their own agenda. The foundational's agenda is easy life. Easy living. And good God, they have earned it. Cultivators. Their agenda is literally helping others, but in many ways, they are worse off than the foundationals as far as their education. And then there is the pilgrim. And their agenda is Plato's point. So foundationals are seeking easy living, which is actually the first ethic. They are seeking the first ethic. Are you ready for this? The cultivators are seeking the sixth ethic. This is going to be amazing. I know where this is going, and this is amazing. And the pilgrims are seeking Plato's point. That's which is the all of I. And that is the purpose to life. That is the life purpose. That's what life's about. The foundationals must have an easy living. That's where it all got messed up. No, it's not. The catalyst is the educators. The education must, because they're at the center of the culture. Because the entire culture revolves off of what comes out of the educational system at its center. Plato's point is the epicenter of education. It's the epicenter of knowledge. The pilgrim is in pursuit of the epicenter. And this is where I struggle. To be a cultivator, you need to be at Plato's point, which means you have to go on the pilgrimage first. It's the wrong order. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Follow the 12 ethics. The foundational is correct. I have the wrong order. Yes, you do. That's why it wasn't working. I have the wrong order of operations. That's why I fucked it up. I was a foundational first. And then I became a pilgrim. And then I became a cultivator. Oh, we have the wrong order of operations. I know why society is fucked up. Because our society thinks that the cultivators are in the middle. They're not. They're not bridges. After the pilgrimage, you go back to being a cultivator because you have to take back the knowledge. So it goes foundational, and then pilgrimage, and then cultivator. Oh, I had the wrong order of operations. Because I'm no longer on my pilgrimage. My pilgrimage is over. So the foundational is the first ethic. The sixth ethic is the pilgrimage. The cultivator is the all of I. I see. I understand. Well, then what are they all doing teaching? Why are they all teaching? That makes no sense. Why are all the teachers teaching? Your children. let me put this in perspective for you. Every perspective is actually a level of consciousness. So you have an ethical IQ. Your age does not match your ethical IQ. However, your true age is your ethical IQ. So if you are a fourth perspective, you are really 4 years old. The majority of the planet is at fourth perspective. There are levels of consciousness. There are 3 stages of 12, which is 36 levels of consciousness. I'm at the 36th level of consciousness, and now the expansion and the widening of the omniscient is occurring. So I am at the 36th level with the first stage of expansive. The average person is at 4th. Teachers range from 2 to 5. So it's like a bunch of 5-year-olds teaching a bunch of 4-year-olds. And which is why, look at the condition of look at the place. So somebody at some point, let's go back in time. Once upon a time, the wisest of people were 4-year-olds. And so the wisest of 4-year-olds said, let's put the 4-year-olds in charge. But we've grown. That's what happened. That's all. We just grew. We just grew. Once upon a time, the 2-year-olds were the wisest of people, and they put the 2-year-olds in charge. And they said, okay, the 2-year-olds are in charge. And the 2-year-olds raised the standards for the rest of the culture, and everyone got up to 2. And then they revamped all of it and said, okay, now it's the 4-year-olds who are in charge, and the 4-year-olds all completely changed the society. We call that the Age of Enlightenment. And when that happened, the 4-year-olds were in charge, and they raised the standards, and everyone moved up to the 4ths. And we're now at the end of the 4th, where everyone is stepping into the 5th. But I made it to the 36th level because my education is different. So when I got to the 36th level, I went, why are 4-year-olds running the planet? And the reason why 4-year-olds are running the planet is because that's where we were the last time we upgraded the system. We are requiring a system upgrade. Oh, yeah, that's it. Guys, we need to have a system upgrade. That's all this is. Welcome to the system upgrade. That's all. The system upgrade happens when your education gets kicked up a notch. The first educational system that we received was Alexandria in the second ethical perspective era prior to the 4th century BCE. I'm sorry, BC. I'll get this right. CE, Common Era. The next time it happened is when books were made, complements of the printing press in the 1400s. That is the last time, Age of Enlightenment. So when we got books, education went up a notch. And that was in the 1400s, maybe the 1500s. That's also when we saw Da Vinci, Shakespeare. Like I said, we had an educational system upgrade. We are due for the next one. We are overdue. And that's it. With the system upgrade, oh, it's so simple. We just upgrade the system, which is what Try to Killing does. It's a system upgrade. All right, so Try to Killing is going to go ahead and be free. Let me go ahead and turn all that over. And that's the theory. That's it. That's the theory. Don't jump ahead. It's prerequisitional. So now, we just need a system upgrade. We have a plugin. The Healing Garden is the educational plugin. That's all it is. Now I have to organize how I am going to do this because I am one person and there are 8 billion of you. So This is how I'm doing it. Email. I will reach the most people via email. 3 emails. 1 for each group. So I'm going to do an email for the foundationals, 1 for the pilgrims, and then 1 for the cultivators. I have myself available. This is not going to be efficient until this is not, I know it's not going to be efficient. It's not going to be efficient once I start getting a flow, but I will automate it by then. So I will turn that over to an automation. What I'm looking at is for the foundational, it's the healing journey plan, which I actually already have in place. And people on my email list are invited to get the healing journey plan. But for the foundationals, it's not going to be a healing journey plan. It's going to be maybe just a system upgrade. It's got to be something that they enjoy hearing, that gives them comfort. Easy living. Education for easy living. Your educational plan. There you go. Your educational plan for easy living. That I can do. And then for the pilgrims, they get the healing journey and they also get the pilgrimage, which is the same thing. Because you start your healing journey and then you go, oh my God, this isn't healing, it's a pilgrimage. Yes, you are on a pilgrimage. But people don't like the word. And by the time you're okay and cozy with the word, you're already like, you're about 20% through your healing journey. About 20% into your healing journey, you realize it was never a healing journey, it was a pilgrimage. And then when you get to the cultivators is how do I boost and improve my business plan? See, and this is our, really what they are is they are foundational cultivators. That's really what they are. They are foundational cultivators. Oh, they are tier 1. That makes sense. Cultivators. And then there are tier 2 cultivators. Oh, no, you don't get tier 1. Okay, so it's tier 2 cultivators, and then there's going to be tier 3 cultivators. I understand now. So there's cultivators at every tier. That was the confusing part. All right. And then the pilgrims range from tier 1 to tier 3. That makes sense. Foundationals are tier 1. All right, I'm starting to get this now. So I have tier 1 foundationals and then tier 2 cultivators. I have tier 1, 2, and 3 pilgrims. And then I have tier 3 cultivators. This makes so much more sense. So now it comes down to membership. So the discussion, the exploratory dialogues is where I run into a problem. It's the exploratory dialogue. Exploratory dialogue is where we do the Q&A, and it's where people can read my material and my theory, and then they can just bombard me. It's literally like Anna's Lounge. It is the teacher's lounge where you come in and you ask the teacher's question. That's what it is. It's Anna's Lounge. And I only have that available for members. That is only for people who are part of the membership. That's it. That's it. And then I would probably do special events. All right, now I see the tier, the special events, and that's when I would do public speaking. That's when I would do the convention. And the convention I do host once every 3 months. So there you go. I got it. All right, now I see the full tier of this. So it goes social media, and then it goes email, and then it goes membership. And then it goes the convention and the summit. And then it goes the playground. That's where we celebrate. We celebrate. That's the best part. That's where I am, actually. I'm ready to celebrate. I've been ready to celebrate for like a year. Not really, because I had to build this thing. But there you go. Wow. All right. I know what I'm doing now. I know my call to action. So I've got all that straightened out. Okay. All right. So we're going to do easy education for easy living. Easy ethical. Education for easy ethical living. That's it. An education for easy ethical living. There we go. I'm really going to enjoy doing that with the foundationals. And then the others are already set up and running. So I have to build that email list. And that's going to determine literally where you are in the lineup. That makes me so happy. You know, I use manifestation strategically. I found physics in it. And I went, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing on a physics level. So I purposely pulled a physics with chain reaction science and with mathematical projection and knowing how the energy works. And I know exactly how to move energy using force because it's the physics. And I learned that if you manifest using physics, it happens. And so every time I come to a problem, I go to bed the night before and I manifest precisely the answer I want. And last night I was like, I don't even remember what I manifested last night. I was like in a meditative state of let's look for problems. I love doing that. It's problem scanning. It's a problem solving skill. Is problem scanning. And what it works, I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick crash course on this now because problem scanning is vital to problem solving. It's how you prevent problems so that you never have obstacles or problems. So think about a problem in life like a fire. You can put out fires all your life, or you can learn fire prevention. No one is taught fire prevention. No one. Imagine what the world would be like if we did not have fire education programs. Remember back in the 80s when we got a whole lot of fire education because there was a rise of fires and the fire department went, we got to get this under control. What do we do? And some genius, true genius said, what if we educate them? You know, that's a really good idea. So then they started this educational program on fire prevention. Elizabeth, do you know stop, drop, and roll? Who taught it to you? I didn't. Did you learn it in school? They taught it in school. Yeah. Who taught it to you in school? Was it like what grade? Do you remember what grade you were in? Very early. Wow. Wow. So this is what we're talking about. And then did they have you practice it? They had us practice it. They actually had us go down on the floor and we had to practice it. So some genius in the fire department somewhere said, you know, what would be a really good idea? Fire prevention. So here I am now in the year 2024 going, you know, what would be really awesome? Problem prevention. Problem prevention. And I got the education on that. Problem prevention. So you have problem solving, but you have problem prevention. That's really marketable, and I'm going to use that. Like, that's really nice marketing right there. That's got good marketing all over it. You've heard of fire prevention? This is problem prevention. So part of problem prevention is a skill I use called problem scanning. And I know what problems feel like before they become problems in my mind. I teach this skill. And it's a scanning process where every night I go to bed, and I lay down and I internalize, I go inside of myself and I look for potential problems. I'm going to break this down in mathematical terminology. I basically use mathematical projection to look at the current chain of events to see what potentially and the highest probability where there's going to be a problem. So between sequencing and projection with probability, I can determine where there's going to be a problem and what I need to resolve. Now, there's a feeling that comes with that I trained myself to memorize. So when I feel an intuitive emotion, and that's not an emotion, when I feel this intuitive feeling, it tells me you have a possible problem that is pending that is going to occur if you don't. Okay. So I now know to do a scan. So I do a problem scanning. I then analyze the problem, break it down, locate what the problem is, and then I go, oh, I need a solution. Then I manifest the solution. So that's what I do every single night before I go to bed. And I do it so consistently that I literally have no problems now, like none. And I have been literally problem-free for a year, despite living in New York City without any money, because I know how to problem solve. When you have resources, when you have assets, and when you have problem-solving skills, you don't need money. So I use these to strategically lay out and figure out what needs to get solved long before it becomes a problem. I mean, like 20 steps. And one step can take a week, sometimes 2 months. So 20 steps, that's like a year in advance. So I have the ability to sit down and run this through. This is part of problem prevention. So when you use math and physics and manifestation, you can literally create education for easy living. And then you have the ability to do problem prevention so that you know how to navigate. Now, a lot of people are in a lot of fires. So there's a lot of people going, oh my God, catastrophe. It's literally, it's equivalent to their house is constantly burning down. And instead of going, maybe I should learn how to put out the fire and prevent the next one, they don't think that far because they're so into the survival stage. So we just teach them standards of living, problem solving, logic, and communication. That's all you need. That's all you need. Those are life skills. That's it. Standards, logic, which is problem solving, and communication. You learn these 4 things and you are set. Now, logic and problem solving and communication are skill building, except when you are building your skills, you are building them using logic skills, problem solving skills, and communication skills. So that when you have those 3 things, you are set. You are so solidly set. Absolutely. So it's problem prevention. That is what we do here. So that's what I'm going to be doing with the education for easy living, is we're going to be talking about problem prevention. I'm going to use it after the fire prevention model back from the 80s. And they came up with a catchy stop, drop, and roll. So it needs to be catchy with 3 parts to it like that. I want to say it's pause, think, direct. That would be it. Pause, think, direct, which is this cognitive behavioral therapy. Yeah, pause, think, direct. The problem is a lot of the stuff that cognitive behavioral therapy is way too, it's not foundational friendly. It's not foundational friendly, which is poor marketing. Fire prevention, stop, drop, and roll is foundational friendly. You've got to make it foundational friendly. So you say words like cognitive behavioral therapy. After you take the stick out of your ass, can you please convert that over into something that's foundational friendly? Because that kind of shit shuts down foundationals. So pause, think, direct. That really, pause, think, direct. That's it. Steer. I want to say steer. Pause, think, steer. Think of it like the Titanic. And you've got the big iceberg. And you get the warning. And you pause. You think and you direct. You steer. Pause, think, steer. And that's really it. Pause, think, steer. And once you learn how to do pause, think, steer, oh my God. But in the problem solving, you learn how to pause, you learn how to think, and you learn how to steer. That is part of the problem prevention. So that's what we're going to do, is pause, think, steer. All right. So yeah, it's just basically coming up with this massive course. And the membership is going to be a phenomenal place. Yeah, so what really needs to happen, and this is where I see the potential problem, is I have to automate those healing plans. Those plans. I have got to automate the healing plans. The membership's going to be easy. That's just a basic monthly summit. Same thing with the summit convention. All right. So I will automate the plans. That's what I need to do. And I need to get the educational easy plan for living for the foundationals. There you go. We are all set. You can stay in whichever group you want to be in for as long as you want. There is no pressure. You do not have to go anywhere. Yeah, you are fine. That's the best thing about all of this, is you don't have to go anywhere. Yeah, we are all set. Wow. That was easy. This is why you want to be at Plato's point. It's because when you're at Plato's point, you can see the ultimate picture and everything's easy because you can see 30, 50 steps ahead. All right. If you are ready to take this chain reaction to the next step, grab the link below. Thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.